morning. Welcome back to the farm. Uh, this morning we are gonna head to the barn. We are gonna get our combine ready to start our sorghum harvest. We uh we finished up those two contracts yesterday. I told y'all I would give y'all an update on the money we made on those. Um, The plowing contract was $1,990 and the mowing contract was $793. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Uh, the plowing contract was $1,197 and the mowing contract was $793 for a total of $1,990. So that actually made up the extra that we spent on the mechanic checking out equipment, and put us a little bit ahead. What I'm doing is I'm coming over here to check the field. It did rain again a little bit last night, so I want to check the moisture on it, make sure it's not too wet to try to get in here and get it harvested. Um, doesn't look too bad. I think by the time we get our equipment ready, get the combine ready, get the header ready, I think we'll be okay to come over here and get our first harvest started on our fields. I know the few contracts we've done over the last couple days, I mean, it wasn't a whole lot, but I mean, it afforded us to get our equipment running and be able to start doing some of our own work. As you can see, the 4755's out here with the wagon. When the mechanic finished up the other night, I just left it parked here. In fact, I tell you what, we'll go ahead and run this over there to the field. Being I'm by myself and don't really have a whole lot of money, this harvest I'm gonna have to do all by myself. So I'll run this over here now, and I think once I get the field opened up, I'll find a good place on a headland to park this, and we'll just have to run the combine back to the wagon every time we need to dump it. For right now, we just cannot afford to hire any help. Hopefully it won't be long. We can't afford to hire a couple helpers. I do know that, tell you what, I do know there's a couple of young kids in town that were looking for maybe some afternoons, weekends, when they're not in school work, make a little extra money. So let's see how our greenhouses are looking this morning. I'll tell you what, everything's looking pretty good. Oh, and we might just be on to something right here. Oh, things are definitely looking like they're moving in the right direction. Like I said, once we get the sorghum harvest done, we'll see what we can figure out with some chickens, because we'll be able to use some sorghum to feed them. That'll save us a little bit of cost in the beginning. So, but yeah, the mechanic was here, got everything checked out. Like I told y'all in the last episode, that was $4,200 for him to get all the equipment going. I actually did here real quick. I did have somebody come check out the fuel tank. He said it will need to be replaced sooner rather than later, but he did say that we're okay to put some fuel in it for right now and use it. He actually cleaned it out and put a new filter on it. So hopefully we'll be good to go there. Got the old pickup running. She still doesn't like to start, but at least it stays running now. So tell you what, we'll get the combine pulled out the shed, and kind of a tight fit through the door. We'll get the combine pulled out, get the grain head pulled out, and we'll get that hooked up, kind of give it one last look over, and we should be ready to go harvest some sorghum. Get this, we'll just come park this over here out the way, because we're just going to put the header on here and just run it across the street. We don't have to go far, so there's no traffic down our little road. We'll be all right with that. There we go. Got the header hooked up. So I'm gonna pull this back around by the shop, and gonna just kind of go over everything again. Just kind of triple check that everything's good, and we will see y'all in the field here in a little bit. All right, we just spent about an hour or so going over everything, just double checking everything, making sure it's good, and we are headed to the field to start our first harvest. Everybody keep your fingers crossed. So we'll go ahead and get the combine unfolded. We'll get our head adjusted here. Everything looks good. All right, let's fire it up. And here we go. Guys, we're doing it. We're getting our first harvest done. Tell you what, we'll stop right here and get our auto steer set. That looks pretty good like that. And y'all, here we go. We are knocking out our first harvest. We're gonna get this sorghum done and kind of eat up some of this corner right here. We're gonna get this sorghum harvested, and like I said, that'll give us some feed for the chickens and something to put in the silos. We'll have to check prices and see, about selling some. Maybe talk to a few people in town and see maybe where's the best place to bring this to. But guys, I tell you what, it feels really good to be working on our first harvest on our property with our equipment. This is not something I expected to happen this soon into our purchase of this place. So we'll get a couple of headlands done here, and like I said, that'll give us some room to bring the wagon in the headland. I mean, that little road that it's sitting on, it would be fine. That's just one of our little farm roads. That's not a public road. But it'd just be a little easier to have the wagon sitting in the field instead of having to go out on the road. Tell you what, that mechanic did a fine job checking out our equipment, getting it right, because I'm gonna tell y'all what, I know I didn't get it on camera, but it took us a while to get this thing to fire up, and when it did fire up, it was not happy. And he worked his magic on it, and y'all, I'm gonna tell you what, she's running beautiful. We got grain coming in the tank. Everything's going good. We're getting our harvest done. Once we get this sorghum harvested, I think we're gonna see about maybe getting our grass field over there cut, and really and truly need to get some silage fermenting, but we don't have a wrapper. I have not checked into the cost of renting one yet. I need to do that. I've also kind of been looking at some of the local classifieds, seeing if I can find a used tedder somewhere. I actually did check into renting a tedder. We can get a little 12-foot tedder. We can rent it for about $300. It's $300. We really can't afford to spend. I did see a 24-foot tedder that we could rent for about $700, which if we can't afford the $300, we can't afford the $700. I would really like to find a used one. Not that we really have the money for a used one either. So we're gonna get this sorghum harvested and look at some options with cutting some grass, and see what we want to do as far as renting a tedder, trying to rent a wrapper, just see what we have around town, and maybe talk to somebody, and maybe go talk to Mr. Walter, Mr. Ben, something like that, see if he knows of somebody that might have one they'd be willing to let us borrow for a little cheaper price, or if they know a lead on a used one somewhere. It's just some things we're gonna have to look into once we get to that point. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna focus on getting our sorghum done first. This was this kind of was high on the priority list. We should be able to, like I said, get a little bit of money off of some of this crop once we get it in the silos and do a little bit of marketing research. Everything behind the machine looks good. It sure is nice to see this thing going through the field. It really does make me feel good about it. I think what we'll do, we'll go ahead and stop right here. I know we're only at about 65, 70%, but we're gonna go ahead and get the wagon ready. We'll go ahead and empty the hopper and oh shoot. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, if you've watched any of my videos, you already know. Best worst farm sim driver. Get the cover rolled back. I may want to turn this the other way. Alright, we'll just park this right here. That'll be its home. We can, every time we get full, we can just pull up right here. I know it's a little bit of wasted time to do it this way, but like I said, when we can't afford really to hire any kind of help right now, this is our only option. But we're gonna get that unloaded and we'll see about getting the rest of this field done. And once we get this done, we will start checking into some grass, hay, silage, whatever that's gonna turn into. We'll catch y'all here in a little bit. And alright guys, we're on our last little strip right here. Not the best producing harvest, but considering this crop's not technically ours, considering, you know, this was basically a free crop for us, I'm not gonna complain. It's a crop. It's money in a way that we didn't know we had. So I'm gonna run over here and grab this one little strip that it missed, because every kernel of grain that goes into that tank counts towards another liter. I'm thinking that, let's see, we're at about 7,000 liters right now. Should be, I think, around 4,000, 4 or 5 in the wagon. So, I don't know, 10, 11,000 liters. I mean, like I said, considering this crop, we didn't know it was here. We didn't plant it. It didn't cost us anything. I think we'll take it. Get the pipe out right here. And we're gonna get this dumped in. Once this is empty, we'll bring the combine back to the farm. And then we'll just run back across the yard here and grab the wagon. We'll get that dumped in the silo. It'll be the first time we fire the silo up, so I'll be curious to see if it actually takes the grain and puts it where it's got to go. All right, pipes in. Let's get combine folded back up, which there ain't a whole lot to fold on these little old masses like this, but we'll get this back across the street. I'm glad to know that it ran well. I mean, it really did. It ran phenomenal. It did good. We'll be using it again here in about a month when those soybeans are ready. So I'm glad to know that when it comes time for those soybeans, we do have our combine in good condition. We're gonna go ahead and just drop the header back on the trailer for now. Get the combine wiggled around. I parked the freaking side by side in the worst place possible for doing this. Either that or I decided to do the header in the worst place possible. We'll get this back in the shed and we'll grab the grain wagon, and we'll come see what happens with the silo. Hopefully we have good news there. Let me park this a little more on this side because we may have a reason to pull that little 3650 out of there in a second. I'm thinking our plan on what we're gonna do next is gonna change a little. We'll run back over here and grab the grain wagon. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure anymore if we're gonna head over there and do some grass cutting and baling, because I really want to get a wheat crop in the ground. I would like to be able to get our first crop planted, number one. To me, I think that would be a big achievement for us. But also, if we're going to try to get the dairy fired up here at any point in time, we're going to need some straw bales. And I think the money would be better spent getting a wheat crop in the ground, because we'll get the straw off of that when we harvest, plus we'll get the wheat, versus potentially having to buy some straw bales when that time will come. So I think we're gonna get this dumped in the silo. We're gonna make sure everything's good with the silo, and go. It's taking it, so it looks like silo's working good. It's fired up. I didn't even pay attention to how much sorghum we had right there. Let's see. 12,315 liters. So, like I said, considering we didn't plant that crop, I'll take it. I'll take it all day long. That gives us some chicken feed, and it gives us a little something to sell. Like I said, we'll have to do some market research later on and see what prices are looking like, see where the best place to take that's gonna be. So I'm gonna pull the wagon back around right here where it was and drop it. And I'm gonna pull up right here by the shop and I'm gonna do some checking in on some inputs for getting a wheat crop in the ground. So I will see y'all here in a little bit with some news. All right, so did a little research, sat down, did some thinking, some talking, and getting some stuff checked out. And I think what's gonna be our best option is I really think we need to get a wheat crop in the ground before we worry about grass. We have a little flexibility on getting our grass done, but the wheat crop we really need to get planted. We're gonna be somewhere around $3,200 to get our wheat crop in the ground, which is really and truly, honestly, $3,200 we don't have right now. So I think what our best option is going to be, our field does not need lime, which is saving us a little bit of money and time. So I think we're gonna come get the field prepped. We're gonna take out our little John Deere cultivator. Be a good chance to see how well the tractor's running. But we're gonna take our cultivator out. We're gonna try to get the field ready. And I think what we're gonna do is put aside some sorghum for the chickens. And then we may just have to suck it up and sell the rest of our sorghum to pay for us to be able to get our wheat crop in the ground. I know we have that other field that's kind of already prepped, but I'm kind of thinking on our capabilities here, and I think our better option is to run oh Lord, y'all see again, I'm telling y'all, best worst farm sim driver. I'm over here trying to talk to y'all and I'm not even paying attention to what I'm doing. You can't get no more real than what you get off of my channel. I'm just telling you that now. Get back lined up right here. Make sure we actually put the implement in the ground. Okay. So I don't even remember what I was saying, but oh yeah, so we have that big field that I know is kind of prepped, but I'm thinking about our capabilities here on the farm. And I think when it comes to having to bale that straw, I think we're better off on a little bit smaller of a field. We're also not gonna need a massive amount of straw, because I mean, it's not like we're going to jump in with 200 head of cattle. I mean, we're going to be, you know, just a couple of cows to start. So I think we're going to do this smaller field and just be a little better for us to manage when it comes to dealing with the straw after we harvest. So yeah, that's the game plan. I'm going to get this cultivated down, get the field worked up and ready, and then we're going to see about doing what we have to do with our crop, with our sorghum there, put some aside for the chickens and sell the rest, and hopefully we can sell it for enough to maybe pay for our inputs to get this wheat crop in the ground. So let's get this field prep done, and we'll get back with y'all here in a little while. Alright guys, wrapping up these last little bit of headlands right here, and we'll get all this taken care of, and then like I said, we're gonna weigh some options and look at some stuff and see where we're gonna go to next. We'll get tucked in this corner right here, try to make sure we get as much of it as possible, and have this field ready. But yeah, like I said, we're gonna get this wrapped up, and we're gonna go back and relook at the numbers for inputs on getting the wheat crop in the ground versus passing on that and working on the baling and getting some of that done. And another thing I'm thinking about is that area that's back there behind me right now. It would probably be next summer after we get this wheat off the field, but possibly consider maybe expanding this field a little bit, breaking some of that ground, and making this field a little larger. So, but yeah, we're gonna weigh some options and see where we're gonna go from here. If we're gonna try to get some wheat in the ground, which I'm really thinking that's the way we need to do it. Sell that sorghum, pay for the inputs, get this wheat in the ground. I think that's the smart thing to do. So, but like I said, that's why we're out here cultivating this, was to get a wheat crop in the ground. So yeah, we're gonna get this wrapped up and head back to the farm and start getting ready to get our wheat crop planted. Catch this last little bit right here. Yeah, this area in front of me is all ours, so we may very realistically look at the option after we get the wheat off of this field to open that up and make a bigger field. And we got this knocked out. So we will head back up here to the farm. That's going to be about all for today. It's 6:30. So I think we had an extremely productive day. I mean, we got that sorghum crop off. We got the field cultivated. So yeah, I'm going to call today a success, considering we worked our own ground with our own equipment. I think that's a huge success for us on the farm. So get the cultivator backed in its little spot right here, get that unhooked, and after we get this dropped, we're gonna call it a day. I'm gonna make some phone calls and see if we can start lining up some inputs, some fertilizer and some seed, and I will see y'all in the morning, and we are gonna start working on getting the wheat crop in the ground. Alright guys, it's been an eventful night and morning, to say the least. So last night I went ahead and made the phone call and ordered the seed and fertilizer for the wheat. And right before I went to bed last night, I had a realization that we're gonna cut down this little farm trail right here. I had the realization that, yeah, we have no way to plant wheat. We have a planter, we do not have a seeder. So we are $3,200 in the inputs and no way to plant wheat. So I thought about it, talked about it, kind of had two options. Option number one, we either nix the idea of doing wheat, hang on to the seed and fertilizer for like corn or soybean planting in the spring, or we spend money we really don't have and rent a seeder to get this crop in the ground. And back to my original thought that wheat's important to us for two reasons. Number one, it'll give us straw bales when we harvest it, and that'll be good for us when we get the dairy fired up. And also for the wheat itself. I mean, it's a crop, it's grain, it's something we can sell. So this morning I decided we were gonna sell the sorghum and use that money to cover the cost of the seeder to rent it, and we were just going to eat the cost of the inputs. I mean, that's how farming works. You spend the money on inputs, put the crop in the ground, and you hope when you harvest it you have enough to cover the cost of your inputs and make a little bit of a profit. Well, I've been doing that all morning, pulled some wheat out the silos to put aside for the chickens, loaded the wheat in the grain wagon, brought that to the grain mill and sold it. Actually made a little over $5,000. So that's actually going to cover the cost of leasing the seeder and the input. So it's a beautiful thing. We're still holding our own. We're keeping our head above water. But the problem is I didn't turn the camera on this morning and thought I was recording all of that, and yeah, no, didn't record any of it. So y'all are coming in here right at lunchtime after I've done a half a day's work, and y'all missed all of it. So sorry about that. But yes, we did sell the sorghum. We kept like 2,800 liters of sorghum for chicken feed. We sold the rest, like right at 10,000 liters and made like $5,038. So now that we're caught up, I'm going to go in here and do the paperwork and get this cedar leased, and we will get that back to the farm. It is raining, so we're going to get it back to the farm and probably be on standby for a little while. But anyways, we're going to head in here and we will see y'all in a little bit. Well, y'all, today was not a productive day on the farm or for video and with my blunder this morning. Like I told y'all, I did hook the grain wagon earlier. I pulled out, let's see real quick. I pulled out 2,869 liters of sorghum that we're going to hold for the chickens. I sold the rest, like I was telling y'all, a little over $5,000 in sales. My blunder with thinking forgetting that thing over there was just a planter, not able to plant wheat. I had spent the money, $3,200 on a pallet of seed and a pallet of fertilizer. Got all that sorted out, decided we're going to lease a seeder. Got over to the dealership, it was raining, went ahead and did all the paperwork on the seeder, but it was going to rain most of the day today, and it's supposed to rain for like the next 2 or 3 days, and didn't want to be paying leasing fees on a seeder that we're not going to use. So we did all the paperwork, but we didn't pick it up. That way we're not paying for it. So came back to the farm, grabbed the trailer, ran back up to the store, got the seed and the fertilizer, and then went ahead and just kind of got some stuff tucked away where we could get some stuff in the barn. I did stick the grain head way back here, even though we can't close the door because it sticks out, which is fine because I can't close this door right now either with the pickup sticking out. So we're going to call it a day. I mean, it was still somewhat productive. Yesterday we got the harvest done, we got the field cultivated. Today we got the sorghum sold. So we're gonna call it a night, head in the house, get some supper and get some sleep, and we're gonna see what the next day or two has to offer. Like I said, it's supposed to rain, I think, for the next 2 days. Let's see, we don't have anything out of the greenhouse yet. So yeah, it's gonna rain for like the next 2 days, which is gonna put a damper on us being able to get our wheat in this field over here. So we're gonna head off to bed, and we will pick back up with y'all whenever we can get back to work. Hope y'all enjoy.